Welcome to the channel, and today's topic is the first question Allah will ask every woman on the Day of Judgment, Qayamat. Is widely discussed within Islamic teachings and scholarly interpretations. One common question often mentioned in Islamic literature is about the hijab, modesty, and how women carried themselves with regard to their obligations. However, Islamic teachings emphasize that all individuals, both men and women, will be questioned based on their deeds, faith, and adherence to Islamic principles. Let's explore this topic in detail, understanding the concept of accountability in Islam. In Islam, accountability on the Day of Judgment is a key belief. It is mentioned in the Quran and Hadith that every soul will be asked about their actions in this life, with a focus on whether they followed the commandments of Allah. The Day of Judgment is a time when the truth will be revealed, and everyone will stand before Allah to account for their deeds. The questioning will not be restricted to one gender. However, different individuals may face questions related to their responsibilities according to their circumstances, roles, and duties. For women, like men, the focus will be on how they fulfilled their religious obligations, their moral conduct, and their relationship with Allah and fellow human beings. Possible questions for women on the Day of Judgment. While there is no explicit mention of the first question that will be asked to women specifically, several areas are highlighted in Islamic teachings. 1. Obligation to worship, ibadah. Just as with men, women will be asked about their worship, including their prayers, salah, fasting, sawm, zakat, charity, and hajj. Allah will ask every individual about how they fulfilled the basic obligations of worship. The Quran states, "So be steadfast in your prayers, for prayer is obligatory for the believers at prescribed times." Surah An-Nisa 4-103. Women are equally required to maintain their prayers and fasting except in conditions where they are exempt, such as menstruation or pregnancy. 2. Modesty and hijab. A significant aspect for women is their modesty and dress code in Islam. The hijab, which represents a woman's modesty, is often seen as one of the primary responsibilities. Women may be asked if they maintained modesty and followed the guidelines of dress that Allah prescribed. The Quran instructs, "And tell the believing women to reduce some of their vision and guard their private parts and not expose their adornment except that which necessarily appears thereof, and to wrap a portion of their head covers over their chests." Surah An-Nur 24:31. This verse emphasizes the importance of modesty in both behavior and appearance, and many scholars interpret that women may be questioned regarding this aspect of their lives. 3. Relationships and family responsibilities. Islam places great emphasis on family, and women often hold critical roles within the family structure. A woman will be questioned about her role as a mother, wife, daughter, or sister. How she maintained her responsibilities, treated her family members, and raised her children in an Islamic way will be scrutinized. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, said, "Each of you is a shepherd, and each of you is responsible for his flock. The ruler is a shepherd and responsible for his flock. The man is a shepherd in his family and is responsible for his flock. The woman is a shepherd in her husband's house and responsible for her flock." Sahih Bukhari. This hadith highlights the significance of a woman's responsibility within the household. On the Day of Judgment, Allah may ask about how a woman managed her household and whether she fulfilled her duties with care and compassion. Treatment of others. Huquq al-Ibad. Islam strongly stresses the treatment of others, including one's husband, parents, children, neighbors, and community members. Women will be questioned about how they treated the people around them, including the weak and vulnerable. The Prophet, PBUH, said, "The best of you is the one who is best to his family, and I am the best of you to my family." Sunan al-Tirmidhi. This principle applies to women as well. Allah will ask women how they conducted themselves in relation to others and whether they fulfilled the rights of others, particularly within their families and communities. Adherence to the Quran and Sunnah. Like men, women will also be questioned on how they adhered to the Quran and Sunnah in their daily lives. Did they live according to the guidance provided in the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet, PBUH? This includes both acts of worship and everyday actions, from how they earned and spent their money to how they contributed to society. The Quran states, "Then you will surely be asked that day about pleasure." Surah At-Takathur 102-8. This highlights that every blessing and opportunity will be a matter of accountability, including how a person used their time, wealth, and resources. Misconceptions about specific questions for women. While there may be cultural beliefs or misconceptions that women will be specifically asked about certain matters, such as how they raised their children or how they wore the hijab, it's important to note that Islamic teachings emphasize that everyone will be judged fairly based on their deeds. The first and foremost criterion is whether a person believed in Allah and followed his commandments. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, said, "The feet of the son of Adam will not move on the day of resurrection until he is asked about 5 things. His life and how he lived it, his youth and how he used it, his wealth and how he earned and spent it, and what he did with his knowledge." Tirmidhi. This hadith applies to both men and women, indicating that both will be held accountable for how they lived their lives, utilized their time, and contributed to society. Conclusion is, the broader message of accountability. While specific questions such as hijab and modesty are often highlighted for women, the essence of the Day of Judgment in Islam is that everyone will be questioned about their individual responsibilities, actions, and intentions. Women will face the same judgment as men in terms of their worship, behavior, and treatment of others, with specific attention given to their unique roles and responsibilities. In summary, on the Day of Judgment, women, like men, will be asked about their worship, modesty, family roles, and adherence to the teachings of Islam. There may not be one universally defined, first question, but the general principles of accountability will apply to all, based on their deeds, faith, and fulfillment of obligations in this life.